Hey, David here, and welcome to my channel. So in this video today, I'm gonna do the big reveal of the 3 cameras that I have that I shot before I left for California. But first, I'm just gonna do a quick recap of my trip in California. I've got my ZR here. I really had a good time. I enjoyed using this camera, with the Minolta lenses. It was all manual exposure. I mean, all manual iris, all manual focus. And for the most part, I didn't have any surprises, which is good. I was happy with the footage I've got. It took effort, of course, doing the manual focus and manual exposure, but it wasn't something, like I said, that was cumbersome or difficult per se. Now, as far as what I'm going to use this camera for, I'll save that for after I do my reveal. But I really had a good time. But I also should mention that this mic, the MED10, I know I can never get it right. I'm looking at it right now. The MED10, I was really pleased with that. The audio quality was good. And also I should mention that, I edited everything with my laptop, and so I didn't have all the stuff that I have behind me here. So the audio, all the fixing for the audio, I just did the AI inside of DaVinci Resolve and, tweaked it maybe a teeny bit, but not really. So it was, what you heard is pretty much what it was. And most of the time I was not too far from the camera. I was using the 20mm lens. There was a couple times where I was a little further away, but I was happy with the shotgun stuff, with the, the footsteps, with the running thing, stuff like that. But I'm not going to get into too much detail with it. But I was really pleased with this, and I'm glad I have that. It's gonna work well for what I plan to use this camera for. Okay, quick shop talk, get it out of the way. I'm on my Red Weapon Helium, shooting on my 25mm Zeiss lens, and I believe I'm at f2. Yeah, shooting a 7:1 compression, 800 ISO. So let's get that out of the way. Okay, so now for the big reveal. All right, so camera 1 was my Red Weapon Helium. Camera number 2 was my Panasonic Varicam, and camera number 3 was the Nikon ZR, or as I call it, the Z-Red. And so what do I have to say? I don't really want to pick them apart individually. I will simply say this: they are different cameras with different looks for certainly different purposes, at least for me. For you guys, it might be different. In a nutshell, the big pluses of each camera, okay? The Red Weapon Helium, it's 16-bit color, it's red raw, it's 8K. I see this camera as being, as I've said before, it's great for corporate work, it's great for this kind of stuff. It's just a high-end professional look for, like I said, let's just call it corporate YouTube creator, even documentary. If you're not doing an artistic or emotional documentary, I think it's great for that. So what is the Varicam good for? Now for me, I have no hidden agenda in any way. For me, I bought the Varicam because it's my opinion that it's the closest to an Arri Alexa, but it's not an Arri Alexa, and I know it's not. But it's lighter than an Arri Alexa. It's not lighter than the Arri Alexa Mini, but the Mini is some serious dough, and so I just not ready to spend that kind of money. So it's the closest for getting, let's just say, the filmish look, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I like it. And another benefit of the Varicam is the file sizes. It shoots compressed AVC, but it's 444. And when you're color grading, that's a big deal. And I'm not going to get into that too much. So it's 2K 444. And for what I'm going to use that for, I'm primarily going to use that for feature length movies, things like that. And it's great for file sizes. It's great for what I needed to do. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So now let's talk about the ZR. The ZR, it's interesting, and like I've said before, it's video. Yeah, I get it. It's the PDAF sensor, video, autofocus, blah blah blah, all that. But it has an artistic look to it, and so I like what it is. Am I going to use it to make movies? No. Am I going to use it as B-roll? Maybe. It depends on the situation. The greatest asset for this camera that I've said to you guys before is the fact that you can just go out and nobody knows what you're doing. I mean, I know autofocus is nice, I get it, okay? Full frame is nice, I get it, because this camera here is a Super 35. The Varicam's a Super 35. There's things about this that are unique and that I like, but at the end of the day, what I like this camera for is the autofocus capability for doing the outside, run and gun, need autofocus, talking, walk and talks, things like that. And the incognito, as I like to say. You're out shooting this thing, people just think you're taking pictures. And it's really funny. I have stood in front of this camera talking to it, and I've heard people walk by and say, oh, well, why is he taking pictures of himself or something like that. So I get a kick out of that. So for me, that's what this camera really excels at. So why am I not going to pick these cameras apart? Well, I don't think it's necessary, and there's a few reasons, but one is for those of you that are ZR owners, it might be the only camera you have, and that's okay. And so I don't want to start picking apart why it's bad, because I don't think it really benefits anybody to see why it's different or why it's bad, because I think that most people that are watching content today, depending on the content you're doing, if you're trying to make a movie that's going to go on the big screen in theaters, you better have a great story or something, really unique. I'm not going to get into that, but it's not really the place for it, in my opinion. But if you're creating stuff for the small screen, back in the day, you used to say big screen, small screen. Well, now small screen can mean your phone, can mean your tablet. The ZR footage looks really good. It just looks different. It doesn't look bad. And so if you're a ZR owner, don't feel like you have an inferior camera by any means. It's a great camera, and it takes great footage. Now, if you are a person who's dealing with higher end clients, I think that's changing as well, because so many people are used to the Sony FX3 and FX6 or whatever, and they're used to that look, which is a very video look, in my opinion. It's very sharp, it's very contrasty, it's very whatever. It's just a video look, okay? And people are used to that. But if you are out trying to get work for higher end stuff, as crazy as this sounds, in some cases, it's just showing up with a bigger camera. I know that sounds silly, but some people can't, translate a smaller camera being good, right? So what I would recommend you do if you're a ZR person, focus on the deliverables, in the sense of focus on what you're delivering. Be a person that they hire for an end content, which is what I've always done. I don't know that the ZR is to shoot it and hand it to somebody. Maybe it is in some cases, but I would focus on creating content, establishing a look that you like, and just run with it, because that's what the ZR is good for. Okay, so that's it. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't, and be sure and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.